Welcome to Comics League Dark. I'm Jared. I'm here with Taladia Plays. What's up, dude?
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another exciting. Well, I don't know if it's exciting or not, but
It depends on your feelings on the topics we're covering tonight. So you want to cover the gaming side first?
let's get the gaming side out. You
All
know
right.
what?
So it was announced today that Multiverses is shutting down. We'll still be able to play it offline, but like they're ending support for it. And yeah, I reacted the same way Taladia did. Because here's the thing, what it seems to me with this, it seems like in light of like a lot of the high profile like failures of live service games. Hey, what's up, Cameron? What's up, Joseph? I think that what WB is probably doing is they're consolidating and getting and stopping their live service stuff. Excuse me, so they can focus on more like single player experiences. What do you think?
I'm upset. I'm upset because I had the alpha for the game.
Me too.
I couldn't. This is way before, like this was through friends or whatnot, right? I got into it, played it, got the special banner and everything. And what happens now? The game is shut down. I'm just like, why can't I enjoy it with my friends online from America? That's so bogus. Like it's
Yeah, but again, not enough people played it for them to justify the cost.
true, but
Even
I
though
just think
the game is still fun, it's flawed because what WB was trying to make is their version of Smash Bros, which they had the bones of something there. They could have made this well.
the thing is,
Yeah, go ahead.
the thing was, what they should have done, they shouldn't have cancelled it after the first launch. They should have just kept going on from that first launch.
That's what people are pointing to as the issue because you had the like beta launch. It was buggy as hell. There were sometimes where I would get into even a single player game and they would boot me. Then, like you said, they like stopped it for like months, and then it came back. And by that time, I get the feeling that a lot of their audience forgot the game existed.
Exactly. And I think if you're gonna have a buggy mess, what you should have done is should have just kept in alpha for a good year or two just to check out the bugs, then go into beta.
And it's kind of funny. Cameron brings up a good point. Another case of if WB tried, they would make bank. All right, you know what? This is for you, Cameron.
Yeah, second Warner Brothers.
There you go.
So, but
And
as a
what's
game,
up, Tina? But yeah, as a game, in and of itself with a single experience, pretty fun. I definitely dug it.
as a gamer myself, I was gonna say this sucks because you've just had back-to-back games cancelled. Two back-to-back games.
Arguably the one that needed to be canceled was canceled. By the way, so Robert's here, so I am going to find a good intro for him. I still have to make his lowest intro. I'll tell you what. I'll use this one. Here you go.
This is the way.
This is the way. This is the way.
How you doing, Robert?
Do you know the way?
Yeah, DC's the way.
I know the way.
I added that. Do you know the way?
So Robert, what do you think of Multiverses
Shame.
It is a shame, isn't it?
It is a shame. It is such a shame.
Hang
it had
on.
potential.
I'm sorry, I gotta do this because guess who also showed up? JJheat. And he's muted. But anyway, go ahead, Robert.
For one, I thought this was going to end up being better than, say, the Nicktoons All-Star game and everything. Mm-hmm. It had more potential with that. It had so much going for it, and yet...
Yeah, I know. It had the biggest potential. What was your all's main character in that game that you played as?
Barely played it to get
Claudia, can I take a wild guess? Does he have an S on his chest?
Yes, he has an S on his chest.
Superman!
I wonder, see if you could guess which one was my main.
1D?
There you go, you got it. as she is in all of the fighting games that I play, including
Even
Injustice.
I was going to say, including Injustice.
Injustice 2. You know why I'm good at Wonder Woman in that? Because when the movie came out, they released her gear, and you had to be a certain level to equip it all. So I just went into the training thing and just like grinded until I unlocked everything. By the way, so
Right.
your thoughts on the fall of Multiverses?
I'm not gonna say I'm surprised because
No.
Multiverses. I'm not gonna. It's not as bad as SKJL. Don't get me wrong. It's not that bad. But Multiverses came at the very end of the. Okay, it's kind of a mix between what Fortnite was trying to do and the Super Mario Brothers when they reached their peak in the late 2000s, early 2010s. It just felt like a retro game. Like, at least on the surface, just with DC IPs.
No, I'm sorry,
WB
Jay.
IPs, because I think what WB was trying to make is their version of Smash Bros. Because that's what Smash Bros is. It's all of Nintendo's IPs thrown into a blender and occasional cameos.
They should have had a story mode, but let's be honest, that would have made it not free to play.
But Robert, what's also sad about this?
What?
Is the fact that this was Kevin Conroy's last proper
one of
video.
it.
One of his last. You know what they could have done for story mode? Just take the comic that was coming out at the time and just use the comic as the story mode. There you go. You're good.
Well, you know what they kept saying what the villain was? What the nothing from Neverending Story.
Yeah, but I don't think we ever saw that. That's the thing. It does technically have a story, but there's no like real cutscenes or like stuff. So I'm like,
but at least I had the comic.
At least I had the comic, which I read the first issue. It wasn't that bad. I mainly got it because it was a Dan Mora cover. That's it. The rest of the story is weird as hell, but it's okay. I think that of the WB games that came out in this recent batch, this is gonna be my favorite over like Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad. Because at least with this, it was a complete game that I just pop it and play. Suicide Squad, you could tell, was like half done. Gotham Knights was clunky. And were there any games? And hey, what's up, Daniel?
There were a couple mobile games sprinkled throughout.
Not mobile. We're not talking about mobile games. Don't count. We're talking about console games.
Yeah, but all in all, I'm like, okay, not that bad. I mean, I'll still play it. Luckily, they're still allowing you to play it like offline and stuff. So I'll still play it and have fun with it. I know.
No refunds. So even if you bought Gleamum or anything, you'll be able to get refunds on those, which sucks.
What they should do, which would be nice, I'm sure they won't do this, but if they could take a page out of the Avengers playbook and just give you all the characters and skins before they shut everything down.
Free of charge.
Yeah, just free of charge, because that's what the Avengers did. And honestly, that's what I think the Avengers did really well, is that they gave you all the store items for free as soon as they were like, okay, we're done, take everything.
Yep.
And
at least though they are having it be it's going to go offline for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Cameron says that would have actually required WB to put an effort. Even if we did get cutscenes, that they would have been stills. Yeah, probably would have been the Suicide Squad final stills where it's like that. But yeah, mobile games that aren't even available in America. Yeah, I know, because didn't they just return a DC like Worlds Collide game, and it's not available in America yet? And I remember, I'm like, I would have heard about this.
Something like that.
Yeah. Or it's like, does the DC Heroes United game count as a mobile game?
Yes, it does.
It does, if I'm being honest.
To be honest, that's a really crummy deal. I mean, it's like you can play like one of those Dragon Point games and then maybe influence the story, but I'm like, that gets boring really fast.
It does.
I'm like, to see the novelty of it, I think, grew out of it, and I'm like, okay, you almost had it there. You could have done something really good. But no, you really could not.
That was a skin.
Yeah, that was the skin. And what's kind of cool, the funniest part about that is that if you were playing as Black Adam and someone else playing as the Batman Who Laughs, the Batman Who Laughs would go, aren't you supposed to be changing the hierarchy of power somewhere?
Yep.
I'm like, I see what you're doing there. But all in all, this has been a very tragic, and Taladia's internet crap. This has been a very tragic, like, couple of months for DC gaming. So all in all right. So you guys want to talk about Spider-Man or Superman?
I would like Superman. That's all right.
Yeah,
all
let's
right.
get it out of the way. Let's
right.
go ahead and get it out of the way.
All right. So I want to bring up one thing real quick. This happened time a Superman movie is in the theater, so it's not like raise the alarm bells.
Nope.
Yeah. Now it's interesting because according to this, I think what it is that they're attacking something that hasn't been litigated yet, but still, what's probably going to happen is what normally happens every time we have a Superman lawsuit before a movie comes out. They settle with the family, and then you're good to go.
I think the big difference here is, unlike before, they're not trying to take the rights.
No, exactly.
Now, at the same time, though, this is a more difficult thing because yes, they did gain the rights, and that's not. I looked into it after you told me about it. It's like, yeah, it has nothing to do with the rights.
Yeah,
it has everything to do with just them automatically being given,
Which this is going to be an interesting an interesting thing to follow, because obviously, again, like I said before, I don't expect it to lead. I don't think it's going to lead to anything, but at Comics League, we like to consider the impossible. So if that were to happen, that would be crippling for the movie if it can't be shown in the UK, Australia, and Canada.
Oh yeah, and I think they're going to be. They do have time to take care of it.
Yeah, exactly.
But it does feel a little scummy, and like I said, Mark Toberos, he is a scumbag lawyer. As I told you guys last time. Yeah.
Go ahead, JJheat.
Quick anecdote before we move on. Actually, Sergeant Giratina, that was actually the Superboy copyright during the mid or late 2000s over Superman Doomsday. That was an active case.
It was both. No, it was both.
It was both. I thought it was just Superboy copyright.
No. Superboy was the one victory that Siegel and Schuster had at the time.
Okay.
That was part of everything. They were able to receive a victory there, and that's why DC kept it off the board. And like I said, eventually it ended with them it being made clear they did gain the rights to everything. But clearly here, it doesn't matter if DC gained the rights. For whatever reason, international laws have it be, they can automatically, without even having to file for it, gain their rights internationally. And I find that's kind of questionable, if you ask me.
It's a copyright law is really complicated. Have you noticed that? I'm like, what the hell?
International bylaws, they're just not worth the hassle. Just pay the licensing fee and be done with it.
Yeah, that's probably what DC is going to do. They're just going to be like, okay, how much money do we have to pay to make this go away so we can release the movie? Because WB knows if they can't release in these other countries,
they're dead.
That movie is not going to be successful if it can only be released in the United States.
Now they seem to have an idea about things, so I'm curious on that.
Yeah. Again, let me put it this way. Either way, it's too early to tell because it was probably just filed. So we don't know what's going to happen. But chances are, I don't think that this is going to lead to anything like huge or anything like that. Because again, WB is... I like to think WB is not stupid. Granted, they've been doing a lot to prove me wrong on that factor a lot, but still.
Obviously, they are going to fight it. They have every right to fight it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So we'll see what happens with that. So is there any chance why is this happening? Did WB screw a contract with the family?
No. They did not screw a contract. This was something that was automatically allowed just by default. for whatever reason, there's an international law that allows 20 some odd years after the creator's death, their estate could just automatically gain the international rights. First I've heard of this.
Yeah, me too. I'm like, really? That's the way the law works? I've never heard of that.
But apparently it's true.
I'm like, oh, that's the law. Okay.
Cameron Bailey, that is not how commercial economics works, especially if you're factoring international bylaws.
Yeah, you can't just split the profits half the way. And
You
second,
can
even,
make sure
even
it's
if you
50-50,
could,
but it's not going to be 50-50.
even
It's
if you
just not.
could, let's
Why
say you
would when
could.
have the rights?
Yeah. Let's say you could. WB is not going to want to split the rights 50-50.
No.
I mean the profits. They're not going to do that.
them.
No, they're not going to do that. Absolutely not. But yeah, so Taladia, what do you think of the Superman lawsuit?
I'll be honest with you guys. They're gonna have to nip this in the bud.
Mm-hmm.
They are.
Yeah, again, like I said,
Not worth
DC
fighting.
knows that DC, I'm sure, understands that they need to do whatever they need to do to get this like wrapped up. Because again, if it doesn't happen, if they can't release it in these countries, forget releasing it in China. Yeah, that movie's dead. There's no way it's going to make the money that it needs to be, whether or not the budget is over 300 million or 180 million. Doesn't matter either way. Yeah.
Oh, you're all good, Cameron Bailey. That's a common misconception.
Yeah. It's understand. Again, none of us really understand business that well. I mean, I was a political science major. I did not major in business.
I was a
Right.
business minor, so I know a little bit. But even
there you go.
even I know that is not logistically feasible. Splitting the profit, you can make sure royalties are in place, but splitting the rights like that, I mean, a practice like that hasn't been done since the 70s, and even then, that is strenuous at the best.
Plus, here's the thing. Even if they did do a split 50-50, let's say they wanted to do that, that would mean that WB would need more money from the Superman movie to break even, because they'd be getting half of the profits they would have gotten.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. But and Cameron says, "Oh yeah, China is the go-to for how much a movie can make or break." Right? Yeah, yes. But my point is, even if it's like, regardless of China, if this turns out where they can't show the movie outside of like like the US, that's it. This is done. You're not gonna make your money back for this.
Now again, this is still scummy. Let's be honest. This is still scummy.
The way that the Schusters and the Siegels were treated by WB, honestly, I'm fine with it.
Oh yeah, but this is their estates.
Yeah.
In fact, the only one that's still alive is one of Schuster's daughters.
Still, I'm fine with it because the way that those guys were treated, I'm fine with that. Yes, take the WB to task. There you go.
Yeah, but
they owe you.
If they didn't have if there isn't going to be any more, if you've been cheap ass and it's just the estates, and that means it's the state holders, then I feel like no. That's the case where I feel like no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's
but
a sleazy
right?
situation all around. I think that's what he's
Mm-hmm.
trying to say here. It's just a sleazy situation all around, because you're trying to rebrand your movie division. All this stuff is going down. Me personally, I just would have paid the licensing fee and be done with it. But in a situation, it's just scummy all around, like you said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because if WB is really serious about their DCU and James Gunn's universe, they need to pay this now. They need to get this done. Because again, there's no way this works, particularly with WB having so much like monetary flops recently, and when they've been hyping up Superman. Because what this could lead to, here's the thing, this could lead to them not being able to make any Superman movies.
Or anything DC movies.
No, not necessarily, because...
No, you're right. Superman movie. You're right.
Superman exclusively, because they'll probably still be able to have him in like a Justice League movie, but we won't get Superman movies.
Yeah, my issue is Toberoff being involved. You know he's just going to go out for blood for his own pocket.
Yeah.
Oh, I got.
The guy's a scumbag. There's no refuting that.
Yeah.
What you want to say, Taladia?
Also, Supergirl. Consider that, because
No. That's not included. She's not a character that's owned by the Siegel and Schusters.
No. Not even crypto.
Supergirl.
Because
Supergirl
she wasn't
debuted-
created by them. She was created by Weisinger, right?
Yeah. The only ones that they would own would be maybe Ma and Pa. I'm not even sure about that, but definitely Superman, Lois, Superboy, because they created that separately, but later on.
Oh, if they own Lois, they can have her. I had to, Robert. I'm sorry, bro. You set that up so well. Wouldn't they? I think they would be able to, like, at least. I mean, depending on the contract, like, own the Kents because they created the Kents as well, right?
That's why I'm trying to let me double check scans on Action number 1.
It wouldn't be an Action 1, but I'm pretty sure.
That's what they look at. They look at Action number 1 for what they created.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Actually, I also have. I'm trying to.
Lex Luthor, another
No,
character.
they definitely did not. No, they definitely did not create.
No, somebody else created Lex Luthor.
Someone else did.
He debuted in the early 40s.
Hold on, I'm checking Wiki. Nope, they did create him in Superman number 1.
Oh,
But yeah,
It's a number 1 that counts.
But it's up in the. But most of the questions fall under Action number 1 more than any of the other stuff.
Okay.
So
That's fair.
Action number 1. So only thing in Action number 1 was Lois, Clark, and just those.
Perry.
and maybe
No, Daily Star. It was the Daily Star.
Okay, I see. Okay.
They
Name,
owned the Daily
remember?
Star. There was no
Name.
Perry.
Don't
Okay.
name.
And no Garatina, and not Brainiac and Metallo. It's just the characters that appear in
No.
Action number 1.
Yeah, just in Action number 1 and Superboy because that was apparently done not for hire.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah,
and
exactly.
those characters and acquisitions, those are separate claims.
Yeah, I don't think even Krypton was named yet.
No,
No.
not yet. Not
Nope.
yet.
A lot
At least not in Action
Number
1.
one.
It was like in a later copy of
Superman number
Action, I
1.
think.
Superman number 1 was
Yeah.
the first time it was named.
Yeah, exactly. So
But again,
let me put it this way: it's a little more iffy when you get to the stuff created by Superman. Like I could see that one be like litigated a little bit.
But again, this has nothing to do with them owning the rights. That one
Mm-mm.
is lock, stock, and barrel. They and Superman, DC owns the rights.
Yeah, and the best that these shoesters get is like royalties and occasional say Superman is created by this. But
That's why we've always had this in a special agreement with, and they are perpetually getting a paycheck every month for the rest of
exactly.
their life.
Yeah, exactly. So, so yeah, it's not about rights. It's just about distribution rights, is what it's about. But it's not about who owns the characters.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
That was resolved. That's like fully litigated. This is just about where we can show the character.
Yep. And again, this was something. Like I said, I've never heard of this law before.
Wait a second. Would this also apply to where they can sell the Superman comics and merchandise?
I think
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh,
geez.
yeah, they have to resolve it. But again, I say it's more scummy on Toberoff's part because this is basically holding everything hostage going forward.
Yeah, exactly. So it's and honestly,
all because they just want a paycheck. All because they want a paycheck, and probably because he saw it, he lost.
And honestly, I'm going to tell you this. This isn't fair to James Gunn.
No.
Because the amount of pressure he's already... Then you have this get dropped on his plate. Yeah, I'm sorry. Regardless your feeling on the Superman movie or James Gunn running the DCU, this is not fair on any creator.
And if it fails because of this, there should be no... this would not count. This would be a default. If the movie loses because it lost the distribution rights, that's a default.
What they'll probably do, I'm going to push back on that a little bit, Robert, because yes, there would be a default and wouldn't be necessarily due to the quality, but the way WB is with it hemorrhaging money, this will definitely lead to one of two things. If this is not resolved by then, WB is going to stop making Superman movies at least, or like.
Until they can negotiate something.
Yeah, exactly. In terms of because now in terms of like the DCU.
Oh no! Period. This will be a period. They cannot. they would not be able to even have him appear in something that doesn't have his name on it.
Oh, jeez.
Because again, this is a character. Remember, there's a difference. But trademark is when you can only have it be, they can't have their title in it. That's not that. This is not trademark. This is distribution.
Oh, so
So
this means that nothing Superman, period. Oh,
Period.
God. Yeah, they really need to resolve this. I didn't know that.
And again, this makes him more scummy on Toborov.
So Jared, this also
Yeah.
affects my adventure with Superman too.
Internationally, yes.
Internationally, they could still put it out on Max domestically. Again, in terms of like the United States, this is not going to affect us.
No, not
I'm
at all.
talking about UK here because I'm a Brit, so of
Oh,
course it
right.
affects. So as a Brit, this affects me.
And it would
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
affect. Yeah, there'll be no Superman content coming out,
Not
or
even comics. Not even comics.
not even action figures or any type of merch, right?
Right.
No.
I'm double checking.
Yeah, because yeah, they really need to like resolve that.
Bloody
Yeah.
wankers, the whole lot of them.
Yeah, it says here, the estates of co-creator Schuster. Now it's just Schuster, not even
Okay.
Siegel,
Mm-hmm.
are accusing of a years-long copyright infringement on several movies and TV shows. Again, they didn't do this with Superman and Lois.
Or
They
Man of
waited for
Steel or Superman
no.
Returns.
The rights, they didn't get the rights till 2021.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
So
The
yeah,
rights-
no.
Man of Steel did not count, but
Okay.
yeah.
No, there was
That
a
is
fight.
odd.
There was a
Mhm.
there was a fight in 2013, which they lost the lawsuit in 2013 for Man of Steel. Then
That was just for the rights of the character, period, right?
Right.
I believe so, yes. And then in 2017, they haven't been paid. Warner Brothers hasn't paid the Schuster estate since 2017. So from Justice League, as you know,
Okay, and also, wait, it's
no,
just
no,
wait,
no.
wait,
Hang on. Taladia said the word.
Why did you say that name?
There is one thing though. This only applies to UK, Australia, Canada, and Ireland.
But still, those are major film markets.
Yeah, but it doesn't count
Val.
China though. But it doesn't count China.
Yeah, but do you think that let's say it's just the US and China, would that be enough to like make this movie successful enough? I don't think so.
No.
Yeah,
no.
but again, the fact that this whole thing is an automatic by default type of thing, that's questionable.
I bought merchandise just for the movie. And
Well,
And now-
Merchandising. Sorry,
where
you
the
said-
real money is made.
Merchandise. But yeah, the fact is they're keeping it to the Schuster because there's only one Schuster member left. And I think, again, that's Toborov playing up to it. There's no more sequels, and I think the estate is content. He's using whatever living family members is left to push
Mhm.
this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I hate him.
Yeah.
It's horrible because if you notice, it's just Schuster. Like I said, they're the only ones with a surviving heir left, I believe.
Now, how far do you think Toborov is going to go with this? You think
all
he's
the
going
way.
to settle, or you think he's going to actually take it to court?
Oh, he'll drag this out. From what I
He'll
remember,
drag this out until they cave in. Unless DC has to they have to find a concrete thing. And I'll be honest, even their resolution of what happened before was dubious. I went by dubious in that they just simply, and the courts basically said it's too complicated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's
Here's what they said. Schuster, here are their quotes. The copyright laws of countries in the British legal tradition, including Canada, the UK, Ireland, and Australia, contain provisions automatically terminating such assignments 25 years after the author's death. Again, I find that weird.
Yeah, I'm like, I've never heard of that.
And even then, no, shouldn't that apply to people who live in the UK, not all anywhere else? That makes no sense. That doesn't make any sense.
No, but I
Guys.
think it's like they still need to get like authorization from like the governments of these countries to show the film, though.
Yeah, so maybe
So-
I say shoot. Yet defendants continue to exploit Superman across these jurisdictions without the Schuster State's authorization. Apparently this all automatically reverted in 2017 and then 2021 in Canada.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Including in motion pictures, television series, merchandising, in direct contravention of these countries' copyright laws, which requires the consent of all joint copyright owners to do so.
Oh boy.
So that's including Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that counts because he was in there.
Yeah, oh god. That's gonna be interesting.
The fact they sat on this.
Yeah, you said it could be. You know what it probably is, Robert?
They're holding him at the coals.
Or what it could also, for that, what it could be is like, essentially 2017 happens and they're like, yeah, we could do it now, or we could wait until 21 when we can bring in Canada and bring in the most amount of countries we can do it
and then they heard the movie was coming, like, we'll wait until the right moment.
Yeah, they were like, Snyder cut is coming out. This might be a time to like start preparing stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They were going to do this regardless of what movie.
Yeah, because it's kind of funny. They need to resolve this.
Oh, I just realized. There actually is some heirs to Siegel, and he's been in favor of guns, so clearly Toporov could not get that approval.
Yeah, exactly. What's kind of interesting is that this also affects the chances that the Snyderverse could ever come back, because Superman's a kind of a big part of that.
It affects everything. So I would tell people that if anyone celebrates this, I would, and they're Snyder fans, I would tell you should tell them that, like, guys.
Yeah, I would tell them they can't. If this goes through, they can't use Superman. Period. Internationally.
Yeah, then this is going to torpedo.
Obviously,
everything.
Unless the Schusters like authorize it, but still, it's like this is going to significantly detract from how much Superman content you get, including Zack stuff.
But like I said, this makes me again just groan about Toporov just using Schuster's sister, his last heir.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the fact that Siegel, they're fine. They're content. Schuster's sister's the only one. And again, mostly it's because she needs the money for her own health care and everything. Mm-hmm. Which again, DC has been going out of their way, sending them paychecks. This is just greed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? This has made my night even worse. You know that, right?
Sorry.
I'm just saying, because I know it's bad news for me. I know. I'm just saying, because it's getting from bad to worse. First, you got Multiverses getting cancelled. Then you get this. This is like a double doozy. And I'm just like thinking, what?
What's don't say it. You'll just
don't say what's next,
just
Eladia.
Jinx yourself, man. You'll just jinx yourself.
I'm not jinxing it. I'm just saying. I'm just like saying to myself in my mind. I'm like, what is today?
So pretty much, Eladia is gonna call up WB and go.
You have something I want. You may think you have some idea what you are in possession of, but you do not.
Yeah.
That's Eladia right there. That's Eladia right there.
My mind right now.
Yeah, I know. Here's my mind right now with all this because of how much I despise WB. Yep.
Yeah, but you
get what you deserve, guys.
They got what they deserve to a point, but they have been doing what they can to still, ever since things got resolved, they haven't screwed anyone over, any of the Siegel shooters over since.
Mm-hmm. Still.
So if you ask me, it's a win. When is it what they deserve? When does that get resolved for them?
No, I don't have the answer to that.
It could be months. It could be
no. What I mean is, when is enough for it to be considered they got what they deserve for treating Siegel and Schuster?
I don't know. But anyway, so let's move on to a little bit more of a positive topic. So the Spider-Man series came out, and I have some thought. Now, I don't hate it, but I don't love it.
I don't like the choices.
Let me tell you what I hate. He gets his powers after Uncle Ben's dead. That's a big red flag.
Why is Disney downplaying Uncle Ben? They've been doing this since MCU.
Because, correct me if I'm wrong, no, at least in the Uncle Ben, at least in the MCU, they established that like Uncle Ben died after he got his after he got his powers. So you could still say off screen you have the story. But with
the cartoons have been ignoring it.
No, but even with this, I'm like, so you're telling me that he didn't even get the whole with great power comes great responsibility speech? That's kind of important to Spider-Man.
No,
on the surface,
Aunt May told him. Aunt May told him. Remember?
But this is not the MCU Aunt May.
on the
I'm like,
surface,
what? Yeah, go ahead.
on the surface, you can remove the origin because if you want to make a story arc out of it, especially in a TV show setting.
But don't give him his powers now.
And I'm sorry, I do not like them using this cartoon as a platform to introduce other characters. That was my issue with Ultimate Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Where they just use it as a platform.
Yeah, now here's what I do like. I like the art style, how it feels like an actual comic book from like the old days. And I appreciate that.
Age Ditko era. I
now,
do
the
like the aesthetic.
Thing that I have problems with is that they're all, first off, they race and gender bent the Dr. Kurt Connors, and I'm like,
and yet it was, and at least with Lady Ock, you could say it was another universe in that story.
Yeah, and then I don't like the political statements they're already making, like when Lincoln is walking back to his apartment. And like that old lady is like hiding her kids from him because he's black, and the cop is trailing him. I'm like, stop, guys, come on.
We get it. You think all cops are going to profile every cop profile? Some do, but everyone, no.
Speaking of profiling, remember that scene in Falcon the Winter Soldier when the cop starts harassing Sam Wilson and forgets he's an Avenger? I'm like, what?
I want to make this clear. I want to make that very clear.
Go ahead.
I'm not going to play the race card. I'm not going to do anything like that. Falcon had no setup in the Infinity Saga, let alone being bequeathed the shield. If you're going to pull this legacy crap instead of just recasting Steve Rogers, just use Bucky Cap from the Ed Brubaker run, which is a masterpiece.
Solid.
It is.
Solid.
And they even teased it a few times.
Many times even in the Winter Soldier when he first showed up. But beyond that, my problem is that they forget that, because I'm pretty sure Sam Wilson was even on the TV doing Civil War, and they go, Steve Rogers is on the run with Sam Wilson the Falcon. You're telling me no one had his picture up there?
Again, this is how the writers see them. They see so many of these people as just being blind racist to the point of stupidity. Yeah,
and I'm sorry. No cop is gonna arrest Sam Wilson the Falcon.
Also, why did they have the DH Tombstone? And yet their argument is they don't want Jessica Jones when newsflash, she was the same age as Peter. She had a crush on him. Yeah, they went to high school together. You shall not be name established. Thank you for doing the name right. Thank you. But it's like, but I'm like, you already have these characters. Can I say BMB or does that count? That counts.
Let's let him have it. Come on.
All right, you could say BMB.
All right, because at least I'm not saying the full name.
Yeah, you could do BMB. But yeah, it's like all the friends are like cringy at best. I mean, Amadeus Cho.
Why Nico?
Yeah, I'm not. Why not like even Ned? Well, I think what they did is they just bent Ned.
I mean, I like Nico. I like Nico. She's one of my favorite runaways. But
okay, that was my next question. Thank you. The Runaways. Now, I'm a little unfamiliar with the Runaways because I remember a little of their comics, but I fell off leading up to the show.
All I know of them is the show.
Okay. The Runaways. Well, the show actually got a lot right with the change on who the traitor was. They changed that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, a bunch of kids who all have villainous parents who are super villains, and they decided to go on the run. Mm-hmm. But again, Nico is the magic one. Her parents were the magic villains, and I really do like her. But one, she's not written well. Nico has always been an emotionally messed up kid. She's the type of girl who, as she would put it, someone dies and she just what does she do? She goes in the arms of someone close to her and everything to try and make it go away. Mm-hmm. She did that with Alex, and she does that with Victor, where she just throws herself at them.
Yes, this was going to be kind of like a prequel to Spider-Man's MCU debut in Civil War, but then they repurposed it to be standalone.
Which I'm glad they did.
But
Yeah,
even
that was
in
the
the
better
trailer
call.
for it, you see Spider-Man in Civil War.
So again, I think they're broad stroking things. Clearly they changed it midway through production.
It could be it's a canon event thing. But even on that, so you have Spider-Man's love interest, not Mary Jane. That pissed me off. And then,
Who's his old?
Technically, even MCU, it's not Mary Jane.
I know, but my point is, it's not an MJ adjacent character or anything like that. And then they're like, they hint, oh, maybe Nico likes her. And I'm like, are you going to do a love triangle?
Wait a minute. Nico's a lesbian.
Yeah, but I'm like, are you really going to do a love triangle in this?
I'm surprised people aren't going to be annoyed, and you're not going to have people annoyed that they're straight washing her.
Is that a thing?
No,
Please
Nico
please don't
Okay,
let me
she's
the one
bi.
make
She
that a
is
thing.
bi. Okay, she is bi, but so many people have preferred her being with girls.
Well, here's the thing, and this is what I told people today when someone commented about how like DC does not like does not do like Diana is bi or Catwoman is bi. It's because or like no. They were talking about Bobby Drake and everything like that, or Tim Drake. And I said, here's what you have to understand about the way the comic book industry works in terms of bi. By bi, they mean gay. They use bi so that if the fans reject it or throw a fit, they can go back. They can easily flip back.
Some exception. Constantine is definitely bi. He has been shown to be bi.
Some of them, but I'd say he's the exception to the rule, though.
I would say Constantine, Harley, and Ivy.
But Harley has mostly dated. Harley has mostly dated Ivy, I think.
You still have her history with Joker. They never got rid of that. And she even had a quick thing with Booster after Heroes in Crisis.
Oh God! But
it wasn't King. It was
it was someone else. I know that wasn't
good.
It was someone else.
But and then Ivy, G. Will Wilson just reminded us, and
they reference that in the Harley Quinn show.
Yeah, where basically say she and Floronic Man banged, and they had a three-way. They literally had a three-way with him and the gardener. If that doesn't prove bi, I don't know what does.
Look at Teladia's face.
And now we're getting demonetized.
But my point is, granted, there are some exceptions to that rule, but overall, the way, at least nowadays, the way they use it is like they're like the character's gay, but but this way we have like a back door out. We can like go, okay, we know what, we're just gonna flip out of this and like go, okay, the fans hated that. Let's just
or it's just their excuse to say, oh, they used to be straight, but now they like it. Oh, they're bi, but they're just gonna stay the opposite or the same gender.
Yeah, but it's kind of funny with the people that want Wonder Woman to be bi here or like gay. Here's what they're ignoring. The minute they do that, that cuts down on the countries where they can sell Wonder Woman merch.
They don't care. You know these people don't care.
The fans don't care. I'm saying that's why D doesn't will not confirm either way. Because if they confirm it to be true, yeah, I'm sorry, they limit. But again, you are right, Robert. The fans don't care because their headcanon is all that's important by Cameron.
Which that reminds me of shipping stuff so much, where it's just like, oh, shut up.
Yeah, I'm like, stop with the shipping. There, on that case,
roll the clip.
Wait, this involves a specific character, but the lesson still applies.
Batman doesn't do ships.
You have no idea the light bulb that popped in my head when I was watching the Lego Batman movie for movie night. And then that comes up, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to use the crap out of that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Okay, Teladia's live cringe aside.
But I think, but overall, I don't hate the show. And I think there's potential there. Time will tell if they'll actually live up to the potential.
You know why I'm cringing right now?
Why?
Because the title of the stream, The Defending Neighborhood Spider-Man Splatter. Like,
oh yeah, because Teladia pancaked in the Spider-Man game. Okay, so for those that want to know what we're referring to, is so when Teladia was playing Spider-Man, so what he did, so you know how in New York there are those traffic poles that go across the street and have the traffic lights? So he swings around one, trying to get momentum for a swing, but he swings and splats on a ledge. You can find that. It's his first Spider-Man stream. I think it's the new Spider-Man 2, and I think it's near the end. I'll find it and clip it.
Oh, by the way, can I
I
mention
think
one
I just
thing?
found your new intro to Ladia.
By the way, something else I don't know if you mentioned. Can we have a moment of silence for someone who passed away? John
Who?
Irwin, He-Man.
Oh yeah. Yep. All right.
By the power of Grayskull.
I have the power.
One of the few characters who could actually pound Superman.
Yep. Magic. So still works.
He is magic, just like Shazam.
I'm still waiting. A straight up just Wonder Woman He-Man crossover.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me that wouldn't be awesome.
I feel like Wonder Woman and She-Ra would have a better, and the 80s version, not that Netflix show. My niece made me watch that, and I still cringe at it to this day.
Such a good uncle, JJheat, to watch that. Oh my god! Because you know what? I recently watched the rest of. I watched the rest of The Acolyte.
And
it did not get better at all. It got worse. By the way, I love JJheat's reaction. I watched Skeleton Crew. That was actually good. I like that one. I love that pause, and then like laughter just comes off. JJheat, that was great. Thanks, brother. That was awesome.
Somebody clip his reaction and send that.
Please clip that. That was great. Yeah. Oh god, yeah, exactly. But Skeleton Crew is really fun. I definitely enjoy. It's basically Pirates of the Caribbean, but Star Wars. That works.
I needed that laugh today, guys.
Do we know how many episodes or seasons Spider-Man will be? I don't know how many seasons yet. By the way, so you know I learned what's kind of interesting. Whenever like they go, oh, it's been renewed for season 2 already, like Creature Commandos. What you guys kind of have to understand about that is like those episodes were already part of the season or of the episode order. And then they probably just split it so they can go, okay, we'll release this half now. This half is a season 2. And plus they get the marketing because it appears like the show is episode 1 launches. We're going to renew it for season 2. No, it just means that there's other stuff. And by the way, this is not me picking on Creature Commandos. It's just the most recent example of when that happened. This happens with a lot of animated shows.
Right.
Yeah, I just want to be clear on that because I know I come off as a DCU here. Yeah, see, I watched it out of morbid curiosity. I was like, okay, so let me watch the other stuff for the memes. And I'm watching this. No, I meant Acolyte. So I'm watching this. I'm sitting here, and I'm like, what? Remember when they made such a big deal about the lightsaber whip?
Oh, yep.
So you know what's funny about that? For anyone that hasn't seen that, the scene in the trailer with the lightsaber whip, that's literally the only time that thing is used in the show.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's
it.
But one, Mara J did it first. Let's get it right. Second of all, from what I've seen of the Acolyte, again, I was not fan request to do a review. That's probably the only time you'll ever see.
But come on, JJheat. Remember, JJheat, the power of 1, the power of 2, the power of many.
That what? Like, what is that?
That's what they say in episode 3. Did you not see that clip?
Because I know it was garbage. Why would I even associate myself with that?
Episode 3, the chant that the lesbian space witches say is the power of 1, the power of 2, the power of many. And they do the hand gesture as well.
And next you're going to tell me they tried to squeeze in Darth Plagueis.
No.
Do you want me to tell you? He's a cameo.
Wait, what?
He's a cameo in the back. So the Sith and one of the twins take off from their base. In the background, out of a cave, you see this hand come out of the shadows, and then it like zooms in, and you see Darth Plagueis' face. And that's the only time you see him in that.
So in other words, they're comparing. He stole it from the witches.
Guys, are you trying to make me cringe even more?
Yes, that's what we are. By the way, Kiadi Mundi shows up in the show, even though it's like hundreds of years before he was born.
The Sith have been dead for millennia, even though I was there to see it.
Well, it could be that like they didn't know it was a Sith because the only person that heard him say "I'm a Sith" died. So
yeah, but that makes no sense still.
Why not just
Robert, this entire damn show makes no sense. What are you talking about? That makes no sense.
I agree. I'm just saying that's in addition to everything.
Yeah, I know.
Why they just use Yoda for the big cameo scene?
Oh, cameo. He does show up.
Oh, he does.
The last shot of the show is the camera pans down. You see the back of Yoda's head. Yep, that's about it. And they make it. So remember, do you want me to just spoil this?
Just go ahead. Go ahead.
Just go ahead.
So you know the whole story about how Anakin was like made by the Force and he didn't have a father. I carried him, I gave birth, I raised him. I can't explain what happened. That thing.
Pretty
The witches invented that because these twins.
That I knew.
These twins were actually created by the Force, but they're actually one person that was split. So technically, they're the same person.
What?
That's literally why. Yeah, the twins are literally the same person that during the Force formation process split into two.
What you just described, what you just described was a very poorly executed version of Darth Revan.
No, JJheat. With that, Darth Revan was already born when that happened. This was like in the birthing process.
That's the example I'm referring to. That is the closest thing I could.
Somehow they made Darth Revan's cameo in the Old Republic better. Cameron says, "Yeah, I knew they were gonna f up the. These aren't the Night Sisters. That's the thing. These are not Night Sisters." The Night Sisters were actually properly used in Ahsoka, which I rewatched. That's a better, significantly better show.
Even Obi-Wan was better than this.
Obi-Wan had some like problems, but I enjoyed Obi-Wan as well. I'm like, okay, you know what? And Andor, I adored Andor. I'm just gonna tell you that right there.
A shame nobody watched it because Andor is surprisingly good.
It's getting a season 2, so I'm happy about that. And again, Skeleton Crew is really good, so definitely check that out. By the way, would you guys want us, everyone in the chat, to start doing Star Wars watch parties like we did back in the day when we like watching it and then CLD we discussed it?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing a watch along.
Because what we used to do is like on like an earlier day, we would live stream and watch the episode live, discuss it briefly, and then talk about it on CLD. So we could probably like have some fun with that.
Yeah,
true.
And then we can also discuss maybe some Charles Soule Star Wars comics because he's about one of the only Star Wars people I trust in terms of creatives.
And I can suggest some good Dark Horse comics.
Oh yeah. By the way, so how many of you guys have read the Darth Vader comics? The original series, the ones that Charles Soule wrote those, the good ones that you guys think of. That was Charles Soule.
Yeah,
Claudia. Charles Soule wrote Superman, Wonder Woman.
Are you talking about the Marvel Darth Vader comics?
Yep.
Yep.
Now, I would say this though. Why did they have to just recently just retcon have it be that Anakin went to Tatooine to kill Watto?
I mean,
why would he
it's
care?
definitely something Anakin would do at a certain
No,
point.
why?
Yeah, why? I'm like,
Watto wasn't that horrible to him, and he also saw how much desolated he was beforehand. This just felt like the writer just put it in there just because, ooh, fan service.
Wait, are you trying to say justice for Watto?
He already took care. Wait. Justice for what?
No, but wait. He already saw Watto in episode 2. He visits Watto,
and he
even
told him what his mom was.
Yeah, and Watto was like, and Watto, as far as we know, never really abused Anakin. So I'm like, yeah, he was a slave, but I'm like,
he didn't do anything that bad. At least
yeah.
we saw on the screen.
Yes, Cameron. They did retcon. I remember the page showed up, and I'm like, why would you do this?
Again, the writer was just shoving in fan service and probably thought, oh, he was probably cruel to Anakin when it's like he wasn't. And he goes to Tatooine, kills him, and leaves. No reason.
So we're
So-
just basically saying justice for Watto. Okay. I'll
Yeah.
take that.
By the way, so you know what they did in Acolyte that had the shills like up in arms saying, "Oh, this is great! Look what they did! Reference, fan service." So you know why Sith's lightsaber is red?
They bleed the crystal.
Yeah, they did that in the show, and everyone's like, "This is the greatest show ever!" They show a lightsaber bleeding. I call that nostalgia armor. When they put that stuff on a crappy show.
And like that though, they show that she's so evil it becomes red when it's like Anakin didn't turn red even when he was at his worst.
Yeah, but he never touched the crystal because the lightsaber hilt was damaged, so her hand made direct contact with the crystal.
Okay, fair enough, but still.
Because in the Vader comics, he actually touched the crystal. Well, his mechanical hand touched it, but it's the same idea.
Concept.
All right.
Yeah, and not to be that guy, but Watto was a decent owner. Dear God, I know it's not perfect because it was still slavery in Star Wars. But as far as we know, it'd be one thing if the writer retconned like Watto hit him a few times or something like that. Then I'm like,
he just shows up to Tatooine, kills him, and then leaves.
Yeah, I'm like, what does that serve? I don't think Vader would do that because it's like, why would I need to do that? He's no threat to me now.
He already took out the sand people that killed his mom.
Yeah,
Anakin can be petty and he's a bona fide crash out, but he has no reason to unalive Watto.
Even if Watto was an abusive master, why would you do that? You're Darth freaking Vader. If you really wanted to do that, send down a legion of stormtroopers and just be done with it.
And just raid the
and again, village. It's the fact that he comes there, kills them, and then leaves. Just like out of the blue. It's like, I'm gonna kill Watto today.
Yeah, I'm like, that makes zero sense. A lot of what's coming out of Star Wars, like remember in the High Republic when there was a character named Geo that is literally just a rock.
You know, I honestly forgot that comic line existed.
Oh, here's another one. Do you know what the ship's name is?
What, binary?
No. Literally, this is what the name of the ship is. Are you ready? Just called Vessel. It's essentially a ship named Ship.
Okay, Ben 10 had an alien like that, but it was an alien that would possess the ship. So then
that makes sense.
All you could say is say ship.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Wait. They already have that though. Ship. And that's in Ben 10.
I just said Ben 10.
He said, but I'm saying in this, the like, you know how like Han's ship is named the Millennium Falcon?
Even though it's a Corellian YT whatever.
Yeah, but it's named that. Literally the name of the ship is Vessel, Taladia. Literally, that is the name of the ship.
How lazy can you
I know, right? And the first mate of the ship is the Rock character. So I'm like, what?
Okay. Why is it these shows that don't involve Fahey are bad? So not Fahey, Filoni are so bad at being creative.
And I'm not gonna say Filoni.
You know what it probably is? I'm gonna tell you this. Some of these writers, I think, either A, don't understand Star Wars, or B, don't treat this like a job and not so much as a passion project. Here's the thing.
Or here's another one. There's another possibility. They want to change Star Wars. True.
Any of those three are there. Because here's the thing. Filoni loves Star Wars, clearly, was trained by George Lucas, so of those two. He has demonstrated that he loves it. What do you want to say, JJheat?
And I do commend Filoni. He at least has some passion towards the larger IP. I'm not going to take that from the man. But even you have to admit, Ahsoka is a creator's pet. I mean, for as flawed as Rebels was, Ahsoka versus Vader on the destruction of the temple in Malachor 3, that was a good death. It was
they brought her back.
Demographic, but it would have been a good death.
Here's the other thing. By the way, my favorite part of go ahead.
I got a pun. A good death is his own reward.
There you go. But you know what's my favorite scene of Ahsoka? When you see Hayden Christensen in the Clone Wars armor and he's doing the Clone Wars. I'm like, oh yes.
He studied. Seriously, Hayden Christensen deserves so much more recognition.
Well, he got it now because all the fans are like, we always suspected that it was just a crappy script, but now we actually see you give the guy good material. And you know what's kind of funny? If you notice, he kind of tweaked his voice a little bit to sound like Matt Lanter.
He did that. He did it intentionally. I just love that whole like incorrect.
Yeah, and how he occasionally flash and he'd be Darth Vader, and I really like that.
I'm just like, why didn't we get this Anakin performance from him?
Yeah, luckily Ahsoka season 2, from what I hear, we're back, so we're gonna do probably Clone Wars flashbacks, and Ewan is coming back as General Kenobi in his Clone Wars armor.
And I gotta say, the fact is, from what I've heard, both Dawson and the girl who played young Ahsoka both admitted it was hard fighting with Christensen because he knows what he's doing.
Yep, because if you look at like the special features for Episode 3, screw it. At one point for movie night, we're gonna cover Star Wars. But anyway, if you look at the like behind the scenes for Episode 3, how long he and Ewan like practiced the lightsaber fight.
Especially one part, that whole part, like
yeah, exactly.
Walking towards him.
Yeah, exactly. And again, it's like when you also have like there was this one PR thing they did of like this kid interviewing Hayden as he's like assembling a Lego model, and you could just hear as Hayden speaks how much he loves this material. And the best part of Star Wars Celebration is when he was announced and like everyone's cheering because again. He got put through the ringer when the movies came out, but to see the amount of love that the fan base now has for him, especially after Ahsoka, it say what you want about some of the creative decisions in Ahsoka, that will forever be the great thing that show did.
And Thrawn!
Oh, Thrawn was great. Also, here's the other good Hayden performance. Obi-Wan!
Yep.
But yeah, Thrawn I liked Enoch's helmet. I liked like all the like stuff with his troops, and I loved when Thrawn is walking up and the troops are just going Thrawn.
Now
Thrawn.
the only problem I have is unfortunately because of the actor having a bit of a gut.
Yeah, I know,
That's
but
the only issue. Otherwise,
time has passed, so you could kind of go off of that.
Yeah,
maybe.
But I will just say, for me, he's not my favorite actor.
Really?
To play Thrawn. That would still be the guy who does them in the audiobooks. Mark Thompson.
If I were to cast him, Cumberbatch
could pull it off, but he would need a good script.
I do think I'm saying that the guy who does them in the shows is great. I'm just saying not Toberoff. I just totally cast it. Thompson. Mark Thompson is who does the audios, and he's done a lot of audios. He nails it. If you ever listen to any of the Unaudible, any of the Star Wars stuff that he has done with Thrawn, he really gets it.
Cameron, why are you upset with what he did to the Mandalorians? Are you talking about season 3? Because he did some cool stuff with the Mandalorians. Elaborate, Cameron. Because here's the thing, Mando season 3 is not perfect, but I definitely there was a lot to enjoy. The biggest tease that they didn't fulfill is when they literally show a mythosaur and they don't do anything with it. Because Mando's rode the. I thought Talati and JJheat, because you were there, that I was predicting that Mando was going to emerge on a mythosaur holding the Darksaber.
Yeah. The biggest fault with season 3 is that we wasted a good chunk on giving Sabine's sister. What was her name?
Bo-Katan.
Thank you. Bo-Katan, a redemption arc. Like, not every foil or shady character deserves a character arc. She was battle hardened. She was stubborn. She screwed up and ultimately played into Maul's hand. If you want to give her a redemption arc, put in the Clone Wars.
We'll leave it on that. It's like Filoni's like justification for doing that. He was like, well, it's called The Mandalorian and Bo-Katan is a Mandalorian. But I'm like, yeah, but when people think of The Mandalorian, they think of Din Djarin. Well, in this context, when they hear a show called The Mandalorian,
One.
9 times out of 10, they're gonna think of Din Djarin.
By the way, do you want to hear it? Maybe not now, but at some point, Mark Thompson doing Thrawn, because I got a clip.
Oh, and by the way, Cameron says, I never liked the new Mandalorians, as I don't think they should be a pacifist race. They never were pacifists. They were just hiding. A lot of their Mandalorian war was cut that I feel could have stayed in.
If it's the Karen Travis stuff, that stuff deserves to be jettisoned. She didn't care. She decided to do her own stuff to build things up the way she wanted. And she fought with even Lucas.
Yeah.
If you're going to fight with Lucas or people who are speaking for Lucas, you have an ego.
All right, so
Also
go ahead, JJheat.
The reason I say that is that I'm not saying Bo-Katan, you could do a redemption because that was where this story was overall going for the season. It's just from a structural standpoint, you could have trimmed the fat a little bit. That's what was my main gripe with that.
True, and then we'll before we log off, we'll do we'll play the clip from Robert. So let's hear this.
Beings begin their lives with hopes and aspirations. Among these aspirations is the desire that there will be a straight path to those goals.
Yeah, I like that.
See what I mean?
That he has the atmosphere there. I'm like, yeah, I would be scared to crap if that guy is fighting me. Yeah.
And you trim his beard, he could kind of look like Thrawn.
Yeah, I'll give you that. But yeah, the gut part was like the other thing. But I liked that even on the Stormtroopers gear, how I had like red stripes and all that stuff, and there was like essentially a tattoo on the bottom of the Star Destroyer. So there was a lot of cool visual stuff. The other thing I didn't like about Ahsoka, I didn't like how all of a sudden Sabine is a Jedi, and I'm like, you couldn't have like one character not be a Jedi.
I mean, I could see how they got there. If anyone who could try to be a Jedi, it would be Sabine.
But I'm like, I get it, but it gets to the point where like every important character is a Jedi at this point, and I'm like,
now say also Rosario has done a great job as Ahsoka.
Oh, she's fantastic as Ahsoka. She's also a pretty great Wonder Woman.
Yep, I knew you were going to say that.
I'm just going to go with that.
By the way, they could have her Ashley Atkins. I wish they could give her a cameo or something.
Maybe they could do like a young. They already did the young Ahsoka. Well, maybe a younger Ahsoka, like in between the little girl and then Rosario. They can like have her play Ahsoka.
Maybe.
Oh, by the way, Robert, I thought of another writer I think could have done a good Wonder Woman run, at least back in the day. Walt Simonson.
Oh, with Thor and everything.
With Thor, that's my baseline.
Or his wife, Louise.
Why?
Because she was a post-crisis Superman writer?
She wrote that crappy Death of Superman tie-in comic that was supposed to tie into the DCAU, but they used a new 52
first of all,
designs.
and she was probably following editorial edict, dude. That's the type of thing I could see.
To use the new 52 and have it like Superman.
Because that does not sound like something she would do. That sounds like something she was told to do. I would not blame her for that. She is a company woman who would do that.
All right. Order 66 was that's the other part that I don't necessarily like is how many Jedi survive, because if you just watch the movies, they make it like Order 66 killed everyone except the main ones. But then when you get into the extended lore, it's like a lot more Jedi survived.
They even killed off one of them that George didn't create, but was his favorite, that Twi'lek one. He killed her off.
Yeah. Aayla Secura, she got killed. And I'm like...
And again, George loved her.
You notice they kept changing how Shaak Ti died?
Yep.
I'm like, okay. It was either General Grievous stabs her or Darth Vader stabs her, or they don't show it, and you can just assume either one. So I'm like, okay. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so I think that's a good place to leave it. So, Robert, where can we find you, and what have you got coming on your channel?
I've got my 500s coming up probably this Sunday. We'll be covering Civil War I versus Civil War II.
Civil War I is the better book.
Barely, but there. But
anything else?
Yep. Nope. That's about all I've got. I got a couple of episodes in the can. Just recorded another ROM Space Night episode before I jumped on.
Heck yeah. So for me, Britt and I are going to be talking about Superman and Wonder Woman Earth 1. I can already tell you that Brit's gonna be ranting about Earth 1 Wonder Woman. But,
well, probably more part 3, I bet, right?
Probably more the whole thing, because I don't think she likes Beth Candy being a fat joke.
Etta Candy, you mean?
Name is Beth Candy.
Oh yeah, right, Etta. Right,
in that book, it's Beth Candy. But
right.
And then
yeah, but to be fair, she was beforehand.
This one really pumped it up, and then and so that'll be out on Monday. Wonder Woman Wednesday, I'm gonna be giving a tour of my Wonder Woman comics and collectibles, so I'll be doing more of a room tour. And tomorrow is Just Society World War II for movie night, so Wonder Woman movie. And JJheat, how about you?
All right, you can find me at JJheat Blaze or JJheat75 on Twitter X. I apologize for that joke, early in the stream. It's
all good, dude.
You set me up perfectly there. But anyway, we're close to 300 subscribers. Thank y'all so much. We're not quite there yet, but we do have over 2,000 hours on the channel. I just reached that milestone today. But anyway, just look forward to more content on the channel. I'll post when something comes up. And thanks for coming on, everybody. I'm sorry, it's been a long day. I'm not at my best.
No, it's all good, dude. It's been a long day for me too. Taladia, how about you?
I was gonna say, as for me, I'll be doing some Snyder Fans Read Comics next Wednesday.
Hell yeah!
Myself and Jarrett will be doing Absolute Superman, Absolute Batman, Absolute Superman. That's what we're going to be doing, and also I will be doing some Marvel Rivals content next week. I promise you. Sorry that I haven't done it this week. I've been very busy, but also on Monday I'll be doing some reactions with JJheat, as we're going to be covering Dimer episode 3. I think it was episode 4. Sorry, episode 4. We'll be doing that. Yeah.
Heck yeah. So stay heroic, everyone. Okay, Robert, you ready? Lois Lane is Lois Lane, and Steve Trevor, Steve Never. She belongs with General Zod. He belongs 6 feet in the ground. Zoe is the Max about for life. See you later.